HIV criminalization is a problem in all sorts of ways. They undercut the most fundamental message about sexual health, which is that each of us must be responsible for protecting ourselves. They contribute enormously to stigma. There is nothing that is a more extreme manifestation of stigma than when it's enshrined in the law.
The stigma and discrimination related to HIV, and in some cases the fear and the myths related to HIV, makes it very difficult sometimes for rational conversations to be had about the risks of transmission and what the evidence actually tells us about the risks of transmission.
It's that fear of you as a person, even though you've not done anything to them, you've not affected their life in any other way other than having this disease.
I think that there are a lot of misconceptions about HIV in Iowa, how it's transmitted, how infectious people are, can you be in the same room with them?
Well, that bike would fit you. This bike is a step-through frame.
I moved here because I wanted to live in a smaller city that I could be more of a pedestrian and more of a cyclist. Iowa City seemed like a perfect place to be able to do that.
I'm from Iowa, and I love Iowa. We have gay marriage. It's a really great place. But unfortunately, Iowa has one of the most repressive criminalization statutes in the country. I could be subject to 25 years in prison.
On a night in January 2007, I was riding my bicycle home from my job. The driver of a minivan pulled up behind me so fast that, I panicked. And he jerked back into the lane adjacent to mine, the left lane, roared past me, and then jerked back into the lane. I ride up to his car window, probably not a very smart thing to do, and I rapped on his window. It was cold, I was angry, and I wanted to give the guy a piece of my mind. The driver gets out of his car with a 4-foot-long telescopic windshield scraper and starts slamming the right side of my head at least 4 times. I'm bleeding. I still have my bicycle between my legs. I still have my backpack. And then he started yelling at me, poking me in the face. And at some point, his finger actually went in my mouth. I just bit down. I thought, I've got to get this person's license number because I'm calling the police. My first mistake. The Iowa City Police Department decided to charge me with the assault.
Everyone agrees that the intent to harm someone should be prosecuted. But that is rare. That's not what the bulk of these cases are about. Very few of these cases are about anyone intending to hurt someone else. About a quarter of the cases are for things like spitting or scratching that don't pose any risk of transmission.
Issues such as biting or spitting, which may have been appropriate 30 years ago, really are inappropriate now because we realize that HIV is not readily or easily or transmitted via these routes.
By a vote of 4-3, the county attorneys decided not to charge Donald under Iowa's HIV criminalization statute, which carries a mandatory 25-year sentence. However, they did prosecute him for assault causing injury, and his HIV status was used as evidence in his trial.
The judge denied our motion to suppress the issue of HIV because he said that it went to the severity of my response to the situation.
A jury found him guilty of assault, but instead of prison, the judge sentenced him to community service, a fine, and an anger management class.
People need to know that this happened, and that if it can happen to some privileged white guy like me, imagine how people who can't defend themselves deal with this issue.